with Sinbad and that superstar cast that they had.
You got any good stories coming off that set with Sinbad? He's had his struggles with his health lately.
Yeah.
Sinbad's one of my favorite comedians of all time. You got any good stories about him?
Yeah, Sinbad, actually, I was talking about being from Benton Harbor, Michigan. Sinbad's from Benton Harbor, Michigan. We're both from the same hometown. And yeah, except he's about, I don't know, 20 years younger than me, so he's a bit younger, but he is going through some health. I think he had a stroke or something, and he's been trying to recover from that. But very funny man, and it was a period when he got really hot. When I say hot, really, things were happening for him, and he cast me in Cherokee Kid. The only thing about, it was Sinbad. It's just great. I bought a house. The first $1 million plus house I bought was in this very exclusive community called Hidden Hills, California, and I felt very good about coming from where I came from, and I got this expensive house. Not thinking I got to pay for this thing, but I got it. I'm in the house. I got it now. So the first night we spend the night in the house, and I get up the next morning and I look out my back window. It was like the tennis court and the guest house, and in back of that was Sinbad. It was in my backyard. And it made so I went out and I said, Sinbad, what are you doing in my yard? And Sinbad actually owned the house next door to mine, so our backyard sort of, so it was two kids in Benton Harbor and, overspending for a house that they couldn't afford. But yeah, so it was just a lot of fun, I can't think of the actress's name. But I remember Gregory Hines was supposed to be, he was on the show and he was supposed to be really fast, the gun. Anyway, but she kept beating him faster on. That was
Dawn Lewis?
fun. Dawn Lewis, Dawn, yeah. Dawn could outdraw Gregory. And anyway, it was just fun to do. It was a great show. I told them that, well, I don't have a problem with horses, but the stuntman said, if you ride the horses, my guys aren't going to be able to work. So if you do me a favor, just tell them that you're not comfortable with horses. That way, the stunt guys get a chance to work. And I said, fine. So I told the producers, I'm not comfortable with horses. And so they took it literally. So they had the other guys on horses and they got me a little ladder to sit on. And I was like, well, when I said I'm not comfortable, I'm not, I can actually ride a horse, but they said, no, we don't take any chance. I'm like, no, but it's okay. So there's a scene where they got a little bitty horse. I don't know where they found this little tiny horse. And I'm like the leader of the gang. So I'm sitting on this little horse, and everybody else is up here on these big horses. But anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I like the movie.
Great question, thank you. Hey, what's your name?
My name is Daniel. What was your favorite scene in any of the Ghostbusters movies?
Oh, my favorite scene, probably the scene in the second movie, on the train tracks when the train runs through me, and yeah, that was a lot of fun because it was a chance for me to have a moment, and it was a lot of fun. The guys were great. Yeah, but it was a lot of great scenes that I enjoyed doing. But that one stands out.
What's your favorite scene?
Probably when all the ghosts come out of the Guitarian and Slimer's in the hot dog stand and it comes out with all the hot dogs in his mouth.
Yeah, that's the scene that none of us were in.
Hey, what's your name?
Dave. So as a fan of the original Quantum Leap, I was super skeptical when the new Quantum Leap came along. But honestly, I think your version eventually surpassed the original. It's so well done.
Oh, thank
And,
you.
and I know you said you watched the original. Were you aware of the importance of who your character was in the original Quantum Leap story when you first took on the role?
Well, obviously I found out when they cast me. I didn't. It was something I found out after the fact, and they were kind enough to write a scene, sort of explaining the connection. But before then, no, I wasn't really totally aware. I had to kind of go back and review it. But it was a blessing to be a part of that, really.
Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Smart. Oh, well, I've been hearing on the con grapevine that back in '94 you used to be a cop.
Back in '94, well, I was never a police officer, so I should probably clarify that. But I was part of a volunteer force, the city that I lived in. We used to do some fundraising, for the police, not just the police department, for the community. And they had some volunteer sheriffs, and so for maybe about 8 years, I finally gave up my badge because people would tell me these horror stories of this one department and since I wasn't really a police officer, I really felt that I, shouldn't represent. Now, how I got to be, that's the story. So I decided to become a volunteer policeman because after the second Ghostbusters, I was asked to come to a school, an elementary school, and speak to the kids. And during that time, I would go around the schools and I'd make kids volunteer Ghostbusters, and it was kind of cool, and try to encourage the kids. And the teachers liked Ghostbusters because the kids played Ghostbusters, they didn't fight each other. Unlike the Ninja Turtles where they tried to. So I went to the school in Pasadena. I was living in another city about 90 miles away, but I went to Pasadena and checked in the hotel, went to the school, did the thing, felt very good about myself, came back, got my stuff, checked out of the hotel, and the staff wanted autographs, so I signed autographs, I took photos, and I felt very celebrity-like, I'm a good guy. So the kids, I was doing autographs with people, and I walked, got my bag, and I walked through the garage door, and as I walked through the door, these guys grabbed me, slammed me to the ground. I started to fight back, but something said, don't fight back. I'm on the ground, I'm looking around, I see these boots, and it looks like about 14 people, and I don't really know what's going on, but this guy now has me in a chokehold, and he's choking me. He's going to tell me, don't tell the story. So I'm in a chokehold on the ground, and I'm really confused because I don't really know what's going on. And I hear someone says, "Oh my God, that's the guy. Man, that's the guy from Ghostbusters." And the guy who had me in the chokehold, he grabbed me, he twisted my neck around, and he looked me in the face and he says, "Oh shit." So it's the Ghostbuster guy. So he they picked me up, and I was like, and they kind of dusted me off, and they said, "Sorry about that." And I was like, and it's like they're all policemen. They're all there, and and they said, we thought we got a report of a kid robbing a store, and you fit the description. Now, I was 50 years old at the time, but on the other hand, I couldn't fight. At first I felt bad because I didn't fight back, but then I thought if I had fought back, I could have got shot, and And I just didn't know what to do. And so they said, they took some pictures, and I took pictures. And then I drove home, and I just felt, it was just awful. I didn't know. My wife said, called me and reported, and I'm like, I got in the shower. It was just awful. But I have a good friend, and he's on the volunteer sheriff's department. So he said, Ernie, he said, man, that's awful. They shouldn't have done that. But you know, sometimes things happen. He said, you know what? I head this volunteer department, and we should get you a shield. You should get you a badge, or if anything ever happens to you, you know, you just show your badge. Say, you know, my badge is in my pocket, and you show it, then they'll leave you alone. And first I thought, I'll never do that. And then I thought, maybe it's not a bad idea. So I went, and they did all the training, which was kind of interesting because I learned a lot from both sides. I mean, it's the idea of doing that job, I couldn't do it. I mean, just the idea of what, you know. But on the other hand, I also felt the other side as well. So for a number of years, I was part of that, and then again, like I said, people would come up and say that, you know, police came to the wrong house and all these horror stories. So anyway, but that's why I became a sheriff, and that's how I did not stay a sheriff.
There you go. Anything coming up on the horizon you're allowed to share with us? Any future projects?
Yeah, there's an animated feature we're doing, even though it's got pushed back a little bit. It's called Oswald Down the Rabbit Hole. That should be a lot of fun. And Family Business is on BET Plus and Netflix. That we're in our 5th season now. And I'm just really looking for something that's you know, kind of fun. I was doing a promotion for Ghostbusters, and I took my jacket off and I had a t-shirt on, and so people noticed I had arms, and so now at almost 80, you know, I want to be sexy, so I'm gonna, I mean, you know, in Ghostbusters, I said I'm the sex appeal, so I'm looking for something that's going to be fun to do as opposed to being somebody's boss. I'm tired of being the boss, you know, the captain, the principal, you know, all these responsibilities. I've always had a good physique, but I've been in suits mostly, so I don't want to wear a suit in anybody else's movie for a while.
Well, we absolutely look forward to all that. Get Raleigh Galaxycon 2024.